your role in the company and the business that you're building, and really getting crystal clear that your main role is the person that strategizes the business. So if you go away from that because you want to grow your business and you forget all about what got you there, the vision, the innovation, the strategy, and you start worrying about square footage of the warehouse and ordering more product, something gets lost. You can have all the product in the world in your storage unit, in your warehouse, in your office. You can hire all the people that you want, but if the strategy gets lost, if the soul of the business gets lost because you have to have your hands in everywhere and you have to micromanage it, the scaling is going to be really, really, really slow. And all of a sudden, you're out of money because you put an investment forward and the money is not coming in. So, it's called P&L, profit and losses, right? So P&L one-on-one. So before it's not, I'm not saying that we shouldn't, at some point hire more people or we shouldn't get some additional, real estate. What I'm saying is before doing those type of moves, we should really look deep at our brand, at the core of our business, who we are already serving, and what those customers want from us. Oftentimes, they just want more of what you're already offering, and perhaps they just want it in a different format and in a more digestible format. I work with a lot of people whose main business is to deliver content. So the actual product is digital product. It is content. And so that's the best case scenario because you don't really have a lot of physical product to go and ship out, and you don't have to worry about the logistics. But when you're working with digital product and when you're working with content where you're actually creating, and you are the creator of your business, you're creating offers, you're creating packages that your clients might need, you might be creating books and courses and all that. So really to scale smarter, then step number one is listen to the feedback that your current clients are already giving you. Listen to what they want. And you'll be surprised. Your next client is going to be your existing client. Your next client is going to be the person that is already working with you and they just want more of you. And they might also be the one that is referring you to somebody else. So actually gives you your next big idea, because they might just say, I really love the course that you made. I really love your book. I wish I had a little bit of this. And this happens to me in lots of conversation, not only with my clients, but also with people I work with or collaborate with Leah. Sometimes it's just, you're good at doing this. Why don't you do that? And then, you should listen, really open your ears really wide and listen, because that can become your next big thing, your next big product.
Yeah, a lot to unpack there. A lot to unpack. I want to welcome Chef Andy LaRusso. And if you love food, you love sauces, you love just to be serenaded, you've got to connect with Andy. He's so incredible. He is a singing chef. And I always say, I'm not a great cook, but I'm a fantastic eater. So I love people who love to cook because I will sample anything. Like, as long as there's no Brussels sprouts, I pretty much will try anything. So thank you for joining us, Chef Andy. And if you have any questions, this is absolutely a dialogue. So put your questions in the chat. Christina is a true expert in her field. So I want to unpack some of the things and highlight some of the things that you said. Is that a lot of times an entrepreneur can get lost in the sauce. I call it getting lost in the sauce like a meatball, where they just really want to do every single thing. And absolutely, there are a lot of different things that we can do no matter what we do. And let me share with you what I mean by that. Let's say, for example, I'm talking to somebody and they want to sell, this jar of, see this beautiful jar here? This is my lunch. All right. And they want to start canning and bottling things. And then they realize that that is so amazing that they also want to start canning and bottling peaches. And then they realize that they go off and they find that the most decadent peaches are in this particular orchard, and that's the only orchard that grows those peaches. Now suddenly they want to buy that orchard. Right? And it just kind of goes on and on. And I say, I understand that we're good people, we want to do good things, but to get your business going, you have to focus on what I love what you said. Keep the main thing the main thing. Like, don't start branching out when you haven't even developed yourself. You haven't even developed your brand. You're not even really sure who your target market is. And so I think that a lot of times, because they have good intentions, they start really getting pulled into other areas. And now suddenly they're just like a meatball. So I love that you said that. The other thing is that, and I want to dive deep into this, is that you got to listen deeper. What does your audience want from you? So they already know, like, and trust you. So I would say, what is it that go back to them, do an interview with them, really, like you alluded to, Christina, listen deeper, find out more about them. Where do they live? Where do they eat? What do they do for their holidays? What do they like to do when they relax? Like, really understand that target market, especially like your top 2 or 3 clients that have been with you the longest. They give you referrals. Like, you can do no wrong, right? Those are the ones that we want to dive deep into and really see what else that we can, what other opportunities are there. So could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I'll give you an example. One of my very first clients, they hired me because they wanted to get their website, their content for the website aligned with their brand. They wanted to understand their brand, and they wanted to know about all the platforms that they could use to spread their message, right? And we did that. But she was the first client that told me, I like working with you because your style is an hybrid of business coach and life coach. Well,
Hmm.
that helped me understand that I'm both. And so now when I talk to my clients through my newsletter or by doing a post or I'm live, I'm very proud to say that I'm a life coach slash business coach, because you cannot keep motivated and keep on going and getting to the point where you're scaling if you don't feel whole inside, and if you don't really understand that you have to keep motivating, and you are the biggest asset your business and brand will ever have. It's not just about going, posting stuff, selling stuff, doing this, getting the content out there. The soul of the business is what you have, and it's not called at all. The soul of the business is what you are going to be monetizing smarter and efficiently. Why? Because it's going to be effortless for you to monetize what you love. You already put so many hours into it just for the hell of it, because you love it. That's how you get started. So why not creating products around it and diversifying around it? So for example, if you are a mindset coach or somebody that motivates people, and you already have all your offer packages and things like that, and your clients are people that need a little bit of extra support, why not scaling by uh, creating a product out of your brand, things that people can use? It doesn't mean that you all of a sudden you're posting about buy the journals, buy this calendar that helps you on track, or buy this mug that is a reminder that you got goals to achieve and things like that. It just means that you have the product out there that perhaps by the way, you can create really, really seamlessly without spending zero money. But instead of consistently selling that product and that becoming your main product, that becomes just a few links at the end of your newsletter every time you send one. So those are little things that actually scale. And when you're doing something like that, people will see that there are especially if people are talking to you because they want to get themselves together, and perhaps um, resign from their job and building something on their own. This year there is all kinds of things that you can do to create multiple income streams. So you basically can become somebody that leads by example. Okay, I'm doing this, and but I also have these other things that I do, because nobody that is operating a business and is able to sustain themselves has been able to do it without putting the work, without creating a strategy or an exit plan. So you can have your exit plan. That's step one of becoming an entrepreneur, and then you have to your scaling plan, where now you are continuously growing that business. One, as I did a poll recently, and the poll was, what's stopping you either from scaling or starting a business? And the main answer was, I have too many ideas. That's right then and there. That's exactly what we were talking about. So you can get lost in the sauce, or you're afraid because you have too many ideas. So the secret, having too many ideas, is a great asset. You just have to find the main one that is going to define your brand, and then all the other things are trial and error, little things that are going to live under the main umbrella of your brand.
Yeah, there's a lot to highlight there. I want to kind of go back to what you said originally. You said that you're also more of like a personal development coach. And I could really, really see that. One, because you're such an easy person to talk to for sure. So I could see how people could really feel comfortable with you and they start asking you other questions. And then you said, we have to really believe that we're worthy in order to scale. So this is how I unpack that. I say that my wall of wealth, my one-page financial plan, is really an easy snapshot where you can look and identify some areas that are booby traps in your financial plan. But the infrastructure is the 6 inches between our ears. And a lot of times I see entrepreneurs, I call it putting on the gas and the brake. They don't feel that they're worthy, so that as soon as they start to have some growth and some success, they will subconsciously start to undermine their success. They will sabotage themselves because they don't believe that they're worthy and they're incongruent. I think that's something that I could really even do a talk on. Like, I see that so often. So I love that you're really stepping into doing the coaching part of it, because truly, if we're doing all the work, but they just don't believe that they're worthy, all the work that you've done together is going to be undermined. So I love that. Let's talk a little bit about so we talked about exit planning and scaling. Okay, this is where I get really excited. Let's talk about scaling. Okay, what does it mean to scale? Let's say I am packaging these, foods and stuff. It could be spaghetti sauce. Okay, I'm packaging them and it's doing great and it's really taking off and people love it. So now, it was kind of a little part-time thing, and now it's becoming a real business, and I'm ready to fire my boss. That's what I call it, firing your boss, and do the happy dance. So what does scaling mean? And I want to welcome Cooper Gates. Thank you for joining us. Christina Salgato, plus letting employees share in ownership. Oh yeah, that's a really big one. So I'm not sure what type of business you have, Cooper, but please put in the chat, put in the comments. I would love for you to network with each other. My intention when I shout you out is to put what you do so that somebody's looking for you. I get a lot of messages that people connect with each other. I've had people do business with each other. Now they've got other speakers on their podcasts and stuff. And of course we have, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. We have our Queen, Dr. Leslie Flowers. She says, hi, ladies and friends. So let's talk about scaling. What does scaling mean to you? Let's just use that example. Let's stay within the spaghetti sauce.
All right, it fits perfectly since I'm Italian, right? so,
Yeah.
uh, so what does it mean? So that's a product that you're selling, and you have a clientele that it's buying it, right? So to just do a very simple example using an actual product there, it's really talking to the clients that are buying them. So you may find out that the person that is buying it ends up wasting one third of it because the jar is too big.
Right.
And so, if you just do a little investigating, getting some data together, and find out who's actually buying these, and what are the bigger families, are single people, women, men, and all of a sudden you can merchandise your product or repackage it in a way that is actually going to make you more money, because now you can sell more of it. And of course you have to do the math and make sure that it's all profitable. But also, if you find out the demographics, who is buying this product from you, and you find out that it's a particular group of people that perhaps likes spices, maybe you can create a version just by adding a little spice that will appeal to those people. And that's just talking about sauce, right? I didn't know that I was able to scale a sauce business.
I think you found another calling here.
So anyhow, that's how you diversify, or perhaps you simply change the level, and create I have a creative slogan, a marketing slogan that will appear to, I don't know, first time cooks or expert chefs. So you can take the one product that you have and repackage it or make it talk to the buyer or the different type of buyer, and to find out who's buying that product and what was the appeal in the first place, right? You have to find out, you have to talk to those people, you have to talk to those clients of yours, or the people that are interested in buying it in bulk to distribute it, right? So are they buying it in bulk because they're distributing it in a fancy market, for example, and perhaps you were only selling it at a farmer market previously, right? So now you realize that for the same product, you have a different type of client. So that's scaling smarter. Find out who your product can appeal to and learn how to talk to them.
I love that. Many times I talk to entrepreneurs, well meaning, by the way, and they say, well, I have to have multiple streams of income. So they're selling vitamins and vacuums and spaghetti sauce, and they're trying to do all these different things, but that's not congruent. To me, that's called a mess, right? Because we're being pulled in too many different directions. And there will get a point where you have to really understand what to say no to. That's why I love what you talk about, Christine. It's really understanding your brand and going deep and doing that research, finding out the feedback from your favorite clients, the ones that you love to work with, the ones that just feel effortless, that you could sit and have a cup of tea with them. Those are the ones I think you want to go deep on. And I love what you shared. Like now, okay, we learned that the packaging may be too big for some of our clients. So maybe we're going to scale that way, more customized or
Giving
smaller.
options.
Yeah, different options. And then we discover that we could actually create these spices, right? We have these great spices and we add those to the mix, because otherwise and I go back to the meatball, right? I see it excuse me, so often that entrepreneurs just get lost in the sauce, because once you start doing things, everybody wants you to represent their thing, sell their stuff, and it just becomes overwhelming. And then people absolutely, they don't have any success. So stay congruent with what is the main thing. Keep the main thing is what I love that you're sharing.
Yeah,
And
and you can absolutely have multiple streams of income. I understand why people say have to have multiple stream of income, right? Because if something happens to one, you have the other one. And if you cultivate it in a way that they can both sustain you, or you can scale one or the other at any time, that's really, really smart. But because your brand is the way you sell, is the way that people recognize you, having different brands is confusing to people. So you can have multiple income streams, but you want to make sure that they're all aligned, that they all make sense. So, for example, if you're selling some print on demand product, why is Christina selling print on demand product, which I do, right? But because it is aligned with what she's doing. Is aligned with teaching entrepreneurs, or now she's creating some that are aligned with the motivational aspects of the brand, right? And so that's how you scale smarter, meaning and you get multiple streams of income. You do different things, but they're not so far off. So if you scale smarter, meaning you write books, you have a book, right? And you do multiple things under your financial umbrella. And you have multiple streams out of that financial umbrella, but the main brand is you and what you do and what you help people do.
Yeah, that's so, so good. And I want to welcome a few more people who've joined us. Dr. Henry Perez, thank you for joining us. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. And he says scaling up in 2025. You know what? I just really believe that 2025 is our year to rise up and thrive. There's a lot of disruption happening. And I know this, and I believe it's from Think and Grow Rich, but and Queen Dr. Leslie can tell us if it is, but in every adversity, there's a seed of a benefit, but only if we look for it. There's a lot of disruption happening right now. Is it just me, or are you guys feeling it too? A lot of uncertainty. A lot of companies and businesses and products are going to the wayside. It is really a Kodak moment, where Kodak was the number one camera, the number one film, and now children don't even know what Kodak is, right? So it is an opportunity for us to really find those seeds of a benefit, and maybe you pivot, but don't start going on a lot of different directions. And Chef Andy says, ciao. He's out of here. Let's see. What does Queen Dr. Leslie have to say? The brand is Christina, and what she does is her offerings. Yes? Is that correct?
Yeah, part of what I do is my offerings, yes.
Okay. And let's see, I have Aisha. Hi. She's saying, hi, Aisha. Thank you for joining us. So let's talk about some of the stumbling blocks to scaling, because I think this is where people get it a little bit off. And this is where I see a lot of thriving businesses, they really will end up going out of business because they just think that they can't scale. They don't have the financial resources. They can't hire an admin. They can't buy a bigger building. So now they think, okay, I just can't scale. So what are some common misconceptions about scaling your business? And let's just stay with the spaghetti sauce, because that's kind of an easy conversation.
Well, I want to say that one of the common misconceptions about scaling is that say you are a solo entrepreneur, all of a sudden you have to hire another 3 to 4 people to be able to scale. And the misconception is that your first instinct is that you're expecting that to hire for more of you, for people that are going to be jacks of all trade and do exactly what you do, so that if you bring in 3 to 4 clients a month, they're going to bring in 3 to 4 clients a month. But that's where the brand gets lost, because they're not you, right? And they don't care about the business the same way that you care about the business. So there is something about when you hire people, about putting people in the right place where their talents are elevated, and even as an employee, they feel fulfilled and accomplished. So if you hire somebody that you really see that they're really good at marketing and social media and promoting, and that's their passion, that they can create a slogan like that in 2 seconds, a great newsletter, even if you had fun doing it while you were building your business and you like it too, you gotta let it go. You have you have to let the person do that. Of course, you can review it. You can make sure now. That's an advantage point. You've done it for so long on your own that you know enough that you can hire the right person for it. You're not blindly hiring a marketing person. You know what the pain points or the things that you didn't love so much about it, and I wish you had somebody that was really good at this was, right? And so now you can go and hire that person to do it. It doesn't mean that you're ripping off from your art a part of your business. It means that now, if you let this person do it under your supervision or collaborating together and all that, you have now more time to service more clients, to help more people understand all those things, and understanding what it takes to start this business and eventually to scale it. And perhaps you'll teach that part too, and you'll use that as an anecdote. That's how my business really scale. My business really scale the moment I let go. I think letting go is step number one. And when you cannot hire people, right? Because maybe your budget might be small and you cannot afford all kinds of other things, you can go for virtual assistants, right? Or somebody that does some freelance work on a particular thing and start that way. If you see it works, now you tested it. So so you can test using these techniques, right? Now that you tested it, now you can make that investment. Okay, now I'm going to hire a couple of employees and I'm equipped to trust because I already tested and I know how to let go and trust. And I'm equipped to create an environment for them that is satisfying to them too, so that they're going to stay with me long term. And you and I had so many conversations about this, people that hire part time and then offer no benefits and this and that, and then what happens? They train somebody and they lose them. So you want to, when you're making the step that you're hiring somebody and you're creating an environment in which they can flourish, you have to be ready. And so before you're ready, try it out with simple other things, virtual assistants, freelancers, people that are offering support because that's exactly what they want to be doing. And so you know that you are testing the waters and see what it feels like to let go, what it feels like to trust, and to actually manage some people. And then we can talk about managing people, because also that's one of the biggest mistakes that people make. They're not
Oh,
ready.
yeah.
They've never been a manager.
That's a big one. So I want to circle back to our Queen Doctor. This is why I call her the Queen Doctor. She has so much brilliance. She is our Think and Grow Rich master. And she's also taking us to Errata, which is her incredible journey. It is a love story that she actually envisioned over 2 decades ago. And she's actually teaching us the process of visualization as she's actually realizing and putting this book together. And I think that's brilliant. I think it's totally brilliant. She's showing us how we can conceptualize something and bring it into reality. So I love what she said. It's a law of polarity. Both up and down are available. So yes, we could scale back. And then I love this other comment. She said, what if you prefer not to scale? And I love this. I love this because maybe scaling to you is just something you just don't have the bandwidth. But scaling in my mind isn't just about growing bigger. I'm going to say I'm the money lady. Okay. So scaling could also mean just putting more money in our pocket, being more efficient with what we have, which is doing things like going through and evaluating everything you're spending, right? Maybe we're overspending on our insurances, which is something I see oftentimes. We're overspending. I think Queen Dr. Leslie had said that she found like $500 in subscriptions that she was able to chisel out. So it's not always about getting bigger. It's about being more efficient. Now we hire an accountant. Now we actually have something to help us to process our invoices so that we're not overwhelmed with the invoices and losing money there. We're overpaying on our interest and our debt. Yeah, that's a big one for businesses. And then they're overpaying on our taxes. If we don't mind paying our fair share of taxes, we don't mind paying our fair share, but oftentimes people are overpaying their fair share of taxes. So scaling in my mind isn't just about going wider or going deeper. Sometimes it's just keeping more of what you're doing, right? What you're already doing. Let's be sure that we're keeping, because it's not how much money we make. We know it's how much money we keep and how much money we're able to invest and to pass on to future generations. So I think you wanted to talk about managing people. This is a big one. This is a big one.
Yes. You might be the best, most perfect visionary and solo entrepreneur that there is.
Right.
And then you want to add a couple of people to your team. And the reason why I became an entrepreneur to begin with is because he just didn't want to deal with people and work with people. It could be one of the greatest motivator that makes you an entrepreneur. And so you did not have the managing experience and you bomb. You make big mistake. First, maybe it's that you're too friendly with them and you let them loose. and all of a sudden they're not working, they're just taking your money, right? Or you're too rigid with them because you expect them to be a mini you, and then you make HR mistakes and you get a lawsuit. Isn't it great? So yeah, so you have to be ready. So if you're going to be managing these people yourself, get some HR support, management courses, because now you're responsible for human beings. So that's something to really, really keep in mind when you're scaling. Or maybe if you have the money to invest, right, to expand strategically, and you know exactly who you're going to be needing and where to put these people into place, maybe a way to scale smarter is to hire a great manager that is going to manage the team for you, and you have a whole team, including a manager, that is going to run the operation part of the business while you keep being the brand and developing the vision and think of those great products that you can expand and strategize upon.
Yeah, there's so much that goes into scaling that way when you're training other people to take over your positions. And this is a big blind spot for a lot of entrepreneurs. They may charge $100, $500, $1,000 an hour, but they're still doing $50 tasks, right? They're washing their own dishes, they're cleaning their own car, they're doing all these things that are really not the money making business. So there comes a point where we have to start to really focus on and really intent about getting those tasks off of our plate. Maybe we hire our kids to start doing some things, keep the money in the family. You can pay a child up to, I think it's like $18,000. So it makes me want to have more children, but I don't think that's going to happen. And also, there's a difference between us understanding what we do and transferring this knowledge to somebody else. There's a lot of little steps that we don't think about that we do, and now we're expecting somebody to duplicate what we have created, our systems. And I read this book recently. It's an incredible book. I think it's called Buy Back Your Time. And he says, make a video of you performing the task, as simple as something as starting the coffee, right? Getting the office open. What do you do? Videotape yourself. Actually, what's the process? What door do you unlock first? And where do the keys go? And where do you start the coffee? Where's the filters? What kind of coffee do you create? And what's your system when you run out of coffee? So if you videotape yourself actually doing all of the processes, I think you have a better chance of duplicating, what you're actually doing.
Yeah, that's a way, and video training is always very helpful, and especially if you make it part of your onboarding. Another way is during the interview process when you're looking for these people that to grow your company, is to really try to find like-minded people, people there have share a similar passion for the business they're applying to be part of. That's very important. Maybe someday they aspire to be like you or to own a company like that, and they want to learn the tricks. Or maybe they just, they might even have been your client, or they might have been consuming some of your products, and they might be a fan of your brand. So try to find somebody that understand the history of the business, so that they need to understand that your skin has been in it for a long time, because this is something that it meant something.
That is brilliant. That is really, really brilliant. I always say begin with the end in mind. And so we may not even realize that we have this vision. Maybe it's documented, maybe it isn't, but really helping your employees, your valued staff to buy into that. What is that mission? What is that crusade, right? You want them to get that passion, and maybe they're not going to be as passionate as you because it's your $1 million baby, but it still is going to be something that they can have some buy-in to, right? That they can get excited about. And where do they fit in there? Like, what does that mean to them? So I think that was really brilliant that you shared that. And I just want to highlight, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Somebody, I think it was Cooper, he made a comment about uh, co-op type of business where the employees own a share or
Yeah,
something.
right.
So that's another way. You can offer perhaps a small percentage, and people, they understand that the job that they're doing is going to generate more revenue, and the more revenue they generate, they also benefit from them. Money motivates everybody. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's really, really brilliant. And then I'm going to circle back to proper entity selection, right? When you get to another level, it's almost like we have to go back and vet everything that we're doing. My first karate instructor told me this. Every level, you're going to go back, every new level, new belt, you're going to go back and relearn everything that you've learned to this point because you're at a different vantage point. You're a different awareness. You have more knowledge. So you're almost like retooling everything that you've already learned at a higher level. And so if we're not, yes, process, that's right. It's the process. If we're not keeping that in mind, like, okay, what is our systems? What is our process? Then again, I'm going to go back to the meatball, right? It's like, what are we doing? It becomes a mess and it becomes overwhelming. I've seen people walk away from successful businesses that are thriving because they're unsure. They don't want to hire employees, but they're not sure what to do, right? There becomes all these other decisions. And that's when you really need somebody to coach you. You really need somebody who can look cleanly with a second set of eyes and really see those blind spots. Maybe we're not going to hire employees, but we're going to get a virtual assistant. Maybe we're not going to hire employees, but we're going to get some internships. Maybe we're not going to hire employees, but we're going to find somebody, identify somebody who sees our vision and wants to take over our business at some point in the future. So there's a lot of different things that go into that. I love that you said that process, Queen Doctor. That's why she's our Queen Doctor. Like, she's so brilliant. And I also want to welcome Chris, our ability ambassador. Thank you for joining us. And he's really scaling. I don't know if Chris realizes this, but his life is really changed. He's evolved so much. And I just absolutely love that. That's what's so incredible about these social media. We think that some people think that it's a social media platform and it's just one of those things. But if you really allow yourself to dive in deep, you will learn and discover so much about you that you never ever anticipated. People are going to pour into you and they're going to pull out the greatness, that gold that's already inside you. And that's what I really have seen with Chris. He actually has done that. People poured into him and now he is our ability ambassador. Don't you love it? And he's on a crusade to help save teen lives. Distracted driving. He's been disabled since he was a teenager. And it was because of, some decisions that he made. But, he says saving teen lives, but I'm going to put up my hand. I've done distracted driving too. I think we all have at some point. So thank you so much, Chris, for being our ability ambassador. We love that. And then we've got another comment here. That's why one goal, capture the process so you can repeat it. Boom. Mic drop right there. If you don't know our Queen Dr. Leslie Flowers, if you have goals that you want to achieve, you need to get with her. She has an incredible goal system that it will really blow your mind. It really will blow your mind. So please reach out to her, tell her we sent you, and show her a lot of love because she absolutely is one of the most generous people that we have here on LinkedIn. She teaches us on Mondays and Fridays. It's at 7 a.m. That's my gym time, but I go back and I'm team replay, right? Well, that's 7 a.m. Pacific Standard. It might be a different time in her neck of the woods. Okay, so let's talk about, you touched on this, exit planning.
okay, so before the scaling came the exit. So exit planning. Exit planning. So I had a conversation with somebody just yesterday about that. Exit planning is when you're working a job or you don't have a job and you're kind of struggling in your business here and there. And you think almost to give up the business that you're building, either while you have a job or while you don't have the job, because you're just giving up because you don't see that it can grow. Don't see the end, right? You lost sight of the vision. So sometimes you have to look, although your business may be very specific and you have something very specific in mind, you really have to look inside for a little bit and think, what are the skills that I already do have? What are the things that people are already paying me for, even if I'm not loving it? And how can I make that support my dream, right? So perhaps you're now decide to freelance on the task that your employer was paying you for. And it might not be exactly the business that you want to build, but now you have a goal. Now you know that whatever the income that's generating, that's going into your dream, that's going into your business. And part of exit planning, sometimes it's these multiple revenue streams that we talk about. When you're doing them, when you're in your business, then you're all over the place. But when you're doing them to fuel your business, with a goal of generating income, that's now you're making a plan to be able to exit. So that's when we talk about that. But exit planning could also be at the end when your business is successful, right? The your vision at the end of your business. Why is it that I'm doing this to begin with, and how do I expect it to end? Right? I what do I think the last day is gonna be about? And how do I feel if I look back and everything that I built? If you look at that, even if it might seem a little sad, right? You know you have in front of you the perfect vision and the roadmap of what you want to build. You just have to follow it backwards. So that's the way I envision exit planning. So it could be two things. It could be while you're planning on building to build something or to scale something, then you just put a little bit of extra effort doing a few things to generate some income, but not blindly. You're just going to take that and then invest it into your business. Or it could be the exit plan in the end game, the last day, right? What happens? And just think of all the things that got you there. You perhaps you did this for your family, who you're doing it for, and how you want to be set at the end. How you want to look back at your journey, and by doing that, you can follow the steps and go on that journey.
That is so insightful. I'm thinking of exit planning, like what you alluded to, leaving the business, right? But what you shared was really, really incredible. Yeah, I always say begin with the end in mind. And what I mean by that is we're working so hard as entrepreneurs. We're getting up early. We're staying up late. We're working weekends. We're missing birthday parties. And if we're doing all that to simply close our doors at the end of the day when we're ready to retire, then I think that what we did is we bought ourselves a job, right? So this should be something that is sellable in some way that you can monetize your business. And we kind of touched on it previously, right? Are we going to franchise it? Are we going to train somebody, hire somebody, teach them, and they can take over the business? So really, what is your intention with this business? And I think it's not a one and done. It's something we have to revisit because we change in our awareness, right? We have higher awareness and now we see something. We're kind of winding down here, but I would love you to talk about something. And I would love our Queen Dr. Leslie to give us some input on this. I see this a lot too. Entrepreneurs doing something that they're really brilliant at. It comes with ease. They could, it's something they could do in their sleep. But then they feel so apologetic about collecting the check because it's something that comes so easily for them that they really can't comprehend that somebody else would pay them to do that. Right? Like, look at this banner. Is this amazing? I don't know how to make a banner. I don't know anything about a banner. I would never even consider making a banner, right? I didn't have anything to do with this. I always say I don't have to be the smartest person in the room. I just have to know the smartest person in the room, right? And I got a lot of smart people. So what do you think about that? Is they say, follow your passion, but they're really good at doing something. Maybe they're not passionate about it, but it is a needed service. It's a needed product. And it's something that is so easy for them to do, but then they feel almost guilty to charge for it.
Yeah, so they have to get crystal clear on why they would charge for it. They would, they have to have a goal in mind. So feeling guilty about charging for a banner, or feeling guilty about charging for a service that you know to do. You have to realize at some point that if you're going to be scaling, you're going to hire somebody that knows how to do what you don't know how to do. And it's almost like an ecosystem. So you have to get in order to make money, in order to scale, you have to be part of the ecosystem. It doesn't mean you know taking advantage of people. It's just
Right.
recognizing that you're worth it, that there is some worth in you and in the skills that you do have. Of course, if you want to balance it so that you feel like a better human being, and also it's actually a great marketing gimmick, what you can do is charge for it, but maybe do a class on how to do it. So if somebody wants to learn, they can do it. Or give a basic free sample of your product as a lead magnet, and then if somebody wants something that requires more intricacy and extra work, they can become your client and pay for it. So it's give and take. If you just if you start a business thinking that money is gross, thinking that, oh, but it's so cold, I do this with my heart and I cannot sell it, right? You're never gonna scale. You're never gonna grow. You can be both. You can be the nice human being that you are, and earn a living out of selling the skills that you do have. Because when you have the currency, you actually can help more people.
That's
You
right.
can do nice things for your friends and family. You can create a free masterclass for people that want to learn to be like you, or they share this passion. So it's you have to have this mindset shift immediately from the get-go. Otherwise, otherwise, I don't know, maybe you're not passionate enough about it, or maybe you're so passionate about it, you don't think it should be sold. People have different philosophy, a different part in their lives. Um, you know, I give you an example, right? So I do write some poetry, and I haven't put that into a book yet, right? But I probably will at some point, right? So it's not because I want to sell my feelings to make money. It's because I want people to see it and inspire other people to do the same. Because before I wrote my first poems and I shared them with people, I just kept them for myself. And it just feels so good when somebody else reads it and they get something out of it. So, same thing, it's going to feel good when somebody else finds a use for something you made, you created, right? And they're going to get something out of it. So, whether they're paying $5 for it, or $50 for it, or $0, you're doing something. Currency is energy,
That's right.
money is energy, and in order for you to get some of the energy and do good, you have to get in the game, you have to get in the flow.
Whew, tons of golden nuggets there. I love it, love it, love it. We're kind of winding down here. So I know that you've done so much. What is on the horizon for you in 2025 as it's your year to rise up and thrive, Miss Christina?
I'm working on some courses, want to create some courses. Got in the last book of the Claim Your Space series coming up, and I am looking to scale. So scaling, it's always on the horizon.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm going to highlight something you said, which is my favorite. I think you probably heard me say this, or maybe you heard it from someone else, but I really don't like to talk about mindset, because to me, something that's set is sedentary, it's static, there's no vibrancy in it. So I really talk about a growth money mind shift. We have to have a shift in our thinking, a shift in our awareness, a shift in what's possible. And you're right, Queen Dr. Leslie, it's a lack of self worth or self confidence. And I often study what is the difference between the two. That's another deep dive. That's another deep dive. So, how can people reach you, Miss Christina?
My main platform is LinkedIn, so you can DM me on LinkedIn, book a coffee chat. That's the main way. But I want to say something else. Actually, a little bit inspired to from Dr. Leslie. Uh, so lack of self confidence and self worth, right? uh, that's something that it's really, really alive and well with a lot of people that I talk to. And funny enough, some of those people are some of the most brilliant people I ever met. So to start experiencing your worth and experiencing confidence, you just have to put yourself out there. That's what one of the things that I tell everybody that works with me: put yourself out there. And I wrote that book, Claim Your Space, exactly for that. Claim your space, define your worth, meaning you have to be willing to occupy space on social media by doing posts, right? Space somewhere by going on a live, space on Amazon KDP by getting your books out there. You have to be willing to create something and put it out there, and open to receiving feedback, open to talk about it with people on lives, or through the DMs, engaging with others. If you're afraid to speak and meet new people, start in a place like LinkedIn. You see a post that you like, make a comment. It's a comment. It's just a comment. I'm pretty sure it's not going to be anything mean that you say. It's probably something. It's going to be something of value, and see how all of a sudden you made a connection. Somebody else is going to react to it, and the confidence and worth grows from little things like that.
Yeah, and I'm going to also say you can start something like this. In the beginning, I felt comfortable posting on LinkedIn because I really didn't know a lot of people on LinkedIn. So, and I just figured nobody will ever watch it, right? I really never intended it to be anything. It was something that I just felt that I needed to do. And, I appreciate people who do watch it, enjoy it, and get feedback from it. So that is going to do it for today. Boy, we went deep. We covered a lot of things. I appreciate you investing this time into all of us, Christina, taking time away from your family and your business to be with here this afternoon. Well, actually, it's still morning here. It's not quite noon yet in California, but we appreciate you. And I know that you're going to get people who are going to connect with this, watch the replay, a lot of value that you bring. And I just appreciate you so much. I appreciate our collaborations. I appreciate our connection. And that's a beauty of the social media, right? We can connect with people that we may have. I mean, she literally lives just a couple of hours away from me. I don't know if I ever would have met her had it not been for our incredible platform here. So that's going to do it for us. We appreciate all you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for the comments. And please share this with somebody else. If you know an entrepreneur who is just getting started or they're thinking about scaling, please share it with them. We'd love to connect with them also. And I think that's going to do it. So I just believe that entrepreneurs are here because you're the one in your family. You have that dream, that vision was put inside you because you're supposed to achieve those dreams and goals. You're the one that's
Exactly.
supposed to change your family's last name forever. And that doesn't mean that you become a multi-bazillionaire. Maybe it means that you're the first one in your family to get out of debt, or you're the first one in your family to be a full-time entrepreneur and make your own schedule. Maybe you're the first one in your family to buy a home or to buy a brand new car. I don't know what that means to you, but when we upgrade for the next generation, we leave them better than they were. That's what I mean when I talk about changing their last name forever. So thank you, everybody. 2025 is your year to rise up and thrive in 2025. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.